Congratulations, you've closed on your South Florida home. But the work doesn't end at the closing table. It begins with the homestead exemption. In 2026, with property values in Miami-Dade and Broward at historic highs, failing to file for homestead is essentially leaving thousands of dollars on the street. We need to dive into the Save Our Homes (SOH) amendment. This isn't just a $50,000 deduction from your assessed value. The real alpha here is the 3% cap. In Florida, once you have homestead, your assessed value for property tax purposes cannot increase by more than 3% per year, regardless of how much the market skyrockets. We will analyze the portability, Save Our Homes benefit transfer. If you moved from a previous Florida home, you can port up to $500,000 of your tax savings to this new property. We will walk through the 2026 digital filing process, the March 1st deadline trap, and the specific documentation required to prove residency in an era of digital nomads. You likely got an insurance policy to satisfy your lender, but in 2026, that policy is probably insufficient or overpriced. We are going to conduct a comprehensive coverage gap analysis. First, we talk about flood insurance, FEMA versus private. Even if you are in Zone X, low risk, the 2026 weather patterns suggest that low risk is a legacy term. We will analyze the replacement cost value, RCV, versus actual cash value, ACV. In a post-inflationary world, the cost of labor and materials in Miami has surged. If your policy is set to 2023 prices, you are underinsured by at least 25%. We'll dive into the law and ordinance coverage. If your home is damaged, the city will require you to rebuild to 2026 codes. Without this specific rider, you will be paying for those expensive upgrades out of pocket. We will calculate the ROI of increasing your deductible to $10,000 to offset the premium hikes we've seen this year. Most homeowners think title insurance is a one-time fee and a forgotten document. In 2026, with the rise of sophisticated title fraud, your owner's policy is your only shield. We will discuss the enhanced policy versus standard policy. We also need to talk about municipal lien searches. Sometimes, the title company misses a pending utility bill or a code enforcement violation from 3 years ago that hasn't been recorded as a lien yet. As the new owner, you inherit these headaches. We will walk through the process of setting up title monitoring services. Many Florida counties now offer this for free to alert you the moment any document is recorded against your property. This is the 2026 way to prevent deed theft before it happens. If you are a domestic buyer moving from a high-tax state like New York or California, your checklist includes the Declaration of Domicile. It is not enough to just buy a house. You must sever ties to your previous state. We will provide a 10-point checklist on how to win a residency audit in 2026. For our international listeners, we dive back into FIRPTA and estate tax planning. If this is your first U.S. home, we will explain why your Year 1 tax return is the most important document you will sign. We'll analyze the ad valorem versus non-ad valorem assessments on your tax bill, those hidden fees for lighting districts, waste management and CDDs, community development districts, that can add 20 to 30% to your annual tax bill. In South Florida, your home is a pressure vessel. The moment the envelope, the seal between your interior and the elements, is breached, the physics of the house change. In this section, we analyze why the 2026 Florida Building Code is the strictest in the world. We start with impact windows and doors. In 2026, we aren't just looking for shatterproof glass, we are looking for design pressure, DP ratings. We will explain the math of wind loads. P equals 0.00256 x V2 x Ks x Ks x KD x G XX CP, where P is the design wind pressure and V is the wind velocity. In Miami-Dade, Your windows must withstand large missile impacts. A 9mm 2x4 timber traveling at 50 fps. We'll discuss why upgrading from shutters to impact glass isn't just a lifestyle choice, it's a financial one. Impact glass provides 24/7 protection, UV filtering for your furniture, and a significant reduction in noise pollution, which in the 2026 high-density Miami market is a premium asset. We will also cover the hidden openings, your dryer vents, pet doors, and even your mailbox slots that can compromise your home's pressure during a Category 4 event. If the windows are the eyes, the roof is the helmet. In 2026, the roof age trap is the #1 reason homeowners are being dropped by insurers. We will dive deep into the 3 major materials: concrete tile, standing seam metal, and advanced asphalt shingles. We analyze the secondary water resistance (SWR) requirement. Even if your tiles blow off, your home should stay dry. We'll explain the peel and stick underlayment technology that became the gold standard in 2025. We also discuss hurricane straps and clips. If your home was built before 1994, you likely have toenails holding your roof to your walls. We will walk through the process of a retrofit, opening the soffits to add stainless steel straps that create a continuous load path from the roof to the foundation. This single upgrade can reduce your wind insurance premium by up to 35% in 2026. We'll also cover the 2026 legislation regarding roof repairs. The 25% rule has changed, and we'll explain how that affects your claims. The largest opening in your home is your garage door, and it is statistically the most likely point of failure. In 2026, we don't just brace doors, we replace them with impact-rated hurricane doors. We will explain the internal pressure coefficient. If your garage door buckles, the wind enters the house, creates an upward lift on your ceiling, and literally pushes your roof off from the inside out. We'll analyze the track systems, the heavy-duty rollers, and why a quiet drive motor isn't as important as a high-wind reinforced track. For new homeowners, we provide a 5-point inspection for garage doors: torsion spring health, track alignment, seal integrity, and the reinforcement U-bars that must be present to pass a 2026 wind mitigation inspection. In 2026, flood risk isn't just about storm surge, it's about cloud bursts, extreme rain events that overwhelm local drainage. We will conduct a topographical audit of your lot. We discuss grading and swales. Does the water flow toward your foundation or away from it? We'll look at permeable pavers, a massive trend in 2026 luxury homes that allows water to soak into the ground rather than flooding your garage. We also analyze removable flood barriers. For homes in low-lying areas like Shorecrest or Coconut Grove, we'll review the latest in flood logs and hydro barriers that can be deployed in minutes. We will explain the 50% rule of FEMA. If you spend more than 50% of the home's value on renovations in a flood zone, you must bring the entire structure up to modern elevation codes. This is the renovation trap every 2026 buyer must avoid. When the grid goes down in South Florida, the heat becomes a health risk within 12 hours. In 2026, the resilient home must be energy independent. We compare the whole home natural gas generator, Generac, Kohler, versus the solar plus battery backup, Tesla Powerwall 3, Enphase. We analyze the fuel scarcity reality during a storm. Natural gas is great until the lines are shut off or pressurized systems fail. Solar is great until the sky is gray for 4 days. We'll discuss the critical load panel, how to wire your home so that even on battery power, your fridge, Wi-Fi, and master bedroom AC keep running. We'll also cover the 2026 tax credits for hardening your home's energy systems and the legal requirements for transfer switches to prevent backfeeding the grid and endangering utility workers. In a temperate climate, air conditioning is a luxury. In South Florida, it is life support, not just for you, but for the building itself. In 2026, we focus on the psychrometrics of the home. The goal is to maintain a relative humidity, RH, below 55% at all times. We will analyze the physics of the dew point. If the surface temperature of your vents or walls drops below the dew point, condensation occurs, and mold begins its 24-hour colonization cycle. We'll discuss the SEER 2 standards of 2026 and why a 20 SEER variable speed compressor is the only way to effectively dehumidify without overcooling. We will provide a maintenance checklist, the vinegar hack for the condensate line. We will discuss the importance of MERV 11 versus MERV 13 filters in a high pollen environment. We will explain why the UV light air purifier is no longer an add-on, but a requirement for indoor air quality in 2026. We'll also calculate the ROI of a whole home dehumidifier integrated into your ductwork to preserve your art, furniture, and health. There are two types of homeowners in Florida: those who have termites and those who are about to have them. In 2026, we are seeing a massive surge in Formosan subterranean termites, often called super termites. In this section, we break down the defense layers. We'll compare the Sentricon baiting system versus the traditional liquid soil barrier. We will discuss why the tent, structural fumigation, is still the only 100% cure for drywood termites. We'll explain how spot treatments with microwave or orange oil technology have evolved in 2026. We'll provide a checklist for subterranean entry points: wood-to-ground contact, mulch piles too close to the foundation, and the form board trap. We will also analyze the termite bond, how to read the contract to ensure it includes a repair guarantee and not just a retreatment guarantee. In 2026, a bond is an insurance policy for your home's skeleton. In the subtropics, a minor pipe leak can lead to a $50,000 remediation bill if not addressed within 24 to 48 hours. We will discuss the microbiology of the home. We'll analyze the Stachybotrys, black mold, versus more common Aspergillus, and how they affect the resale value of your property in 2026. We will introduce the smart water shutoff valve, like Moen Flow or Fin. In 2026, these AI-driven devices can detect a drip at the rate of 1 drop per minute and shut off your main water line automatically. We will walk through the musty smell audit, how to use a thermal imaging camera to find cold spots behind drywall that indicate moisture intrusion. We'll also cover the 2026 regulations on mold assessors versus mold remediators to ensure you aren't being scammed by a company that finds a problem they are also paid to fix. Your garden is the first line of defense. In 2026, the trend is xeriscaping and native species, not just for beauty, but for survivability. We discuss the root system threat. Ficus trees and certain palms can destroy your plumbing and foundation if planted too close. We'll analyze the hurricane cut versus natural thinning for palm trees, why overpruning actually makes trees more likely to snap. We'll also talk about the iguana and exotic pest crisis of 2026. From subterranean iguanas undermining your pool deck to the bufo toad threat to your pets, we provide a biological defense strategy. We will discuss iguana-proof barriers, specific lighting to deter nocturnal pests, and why your irrigation schedule should be deep and infrequent to prevent fungus in your St. Augustine grass.
In 2026, the conversation around solar has shifted from saving a few dollars to energy sovereignty. Florida, the sunshine state, finally has the battery technology to match its name. We will analyze the solar ROI equation in the current 2026 utility landscape. We will discuss the shift in net metering laws and why the battery-first approach is now the standard. We dive into the physics of N-type monocrystalline cells and why they perform better in the high heat, high humidity Florida environment compared to older tech. We'll walk through the Solar Rights Act, Florida Statute 163.04, which prevents your HOA from banning solar panels. We provide a checklist for your roof's structural integrity before installation. You should never put a 30-year solar system on a 15-year-old roof. We also cover the 2026 federal tax credits, 30% plus, and how to structure the system pays for itself through the avoidance of the tweaked utility rate hikes. By 2026, electric vehicles, EVs, have reached a tipping point in South Florida. If your home isn't EV ready, it is becoming obsolete in the luxury market. In this section, we conduct an electrical panel audit. We'll discuss the necessity of a 200 MP or 400 MP service to handle multiple level 2 chargers. We'll compare the NEMA 14 to 50 plug versus hardwired smart chargers like Wallbox or Tesla Universal Wall Connector. We dive into load management systems technology that allows you to charge 2 cars at 48 amps without blowing your main breaker by intelligently shaving the load when the AC kicks in. For condo owners, we discuss the 26 right to charge laws and how to navigate the engineering requirements of installing a charger in a shared garage, including the billing integration so the HOA doesn't pay for your fuel. The smart home of 26 is no longer a collection of disconnected apps. It is a unified ecosystem driven by the Matter and Thread protocols. We will analyze the AI-driven energy management system, EMS. Imagine a home that knows a storm is coming via API integration with the National Hurricane Center, automatically pre-cools the house by 4 degrees and charges your batteries to 100% before the first gust of wind hits. We'll discuss the predictive maintenance of your appliances, sensors that alert you to a failing compressor in your fridge before the food spoils. We'll also cover cybersecurity for the home, how to segment your IoT, Internet of Things devices on a separate VLAN to ensure that a smart light bulb doesn't become a backdoor for hackers to access your personal financial data. This is the 2026 standard for high net worth security. Technology isn't just silicon and wires, it's chemistry. In 2026, we focus on the passive efficiency of the home. We'll analyze open cell versus closed cell spray foam insulation. In the Florida heat, your attic can reach 140 degrees or 60 degrees, forcing your AC to work 30% harder. We'll explain the hot roof concept, sealing the attic entirely to create a conditioned space. We'll discuss the ROI of low E-glass coatings and spectrally selective window films that block 99% of infrared heat without darkening your view. We provide a 3-6 checklist for blower door testing, how to find the invisible air leaks that are bleeding your expensive conditioned air into the Florida humidity. We'll also review the 2026 Energy Star 4.0 requirements and the rebates available for upgrading to heat pump water heaters and high-efficiency appliances.
In 2026, if you live in a condo or a gated community, you aren't just a resident. You are a shareholder in a multi-million-dollar corporation. We begin this module by analyzing corporate governance for homeowners. We'll discuss the Board Accountability Act of 2025, which grants owners unprecedented access to financial records via digital transparency portals. We provide a checklist for your first 90 days. How to read the meeting minutes to spot upcoming litigation. You must understand the reserve funding schedule. Learn how to identify a rogue board. We'll explain the strategy of strategic committee participation. You don't need to be the president, but being on the financing or resiliency committee gives you a front row seat to decisions that affect your property's value. We also dive into the legal protections against arbitrary fines. The 2026 Florida statutes protect your right to peaceful enjoyment against overzealous associations. Luxury in 2026 is no longer about just having a pool. It's about biohacking and productivity integration. We analyze how to maximize the value of your association's offerings to offset your personal expenses. We'll discuss the Health Tech Suite, how to utilize on-site cold plunges, infrared saunas, and IV therapy rooms that have become standard in new Brickell and Edgewater developments. We'll calculate the shadow ROI of using the building's private co-working spaces and podcast studios, instead of renting external office space. We also explore the concierge arbitrage, leveraging your building's relationships to gain access to sold-out events like Formula One, Art Basel, or the 2026 World Cup matches in Miami. We'll show you how to audit the amenity usage fee versus market value to ensure you are getting the most out of your monthly maintenance dues. In Miami, your network is your net worth. We discussed the topography of influence in 2026. We analyzed the shift from traditional golf clubs to the paddle and pickleball economy. We'll explain why the local paddle club is where the biggest real estate and tech deals are being closed today. We provide a guide to the private member clubs and how to evaluate the cost of membership as a business expense for market intelligence. We also discuss community philanthropy, how getting involved in organizations like the Everglades Foundation or Miami Waterkeeper not only protects your environment, but connects you with the city's decision makers. This is social equity, the intangible value that makes your home more than just real estate. A home is a living asset. To conclude this checklist, we provide the equity tracking framework. We'll introduce the formula for adjusted equity growth, where technical debt is the cost of looming 2026 structural updates. We'll walk through how to use AI-driven tools to track hyperlocal comps. We discuss the renovation sweet spot, why 2026 is the year to upgrade kitchens to AI-integrated smart kitchens to capture the next wave of buyers. Finally, we analyze the exit strategy, when to use a 1031 exchange, how to prepare for a portfolio sale if you own multiple units, and how to ensure your curb appeal in 2026 includes a digital twin and a VR-ready listing for international buyers.
And that, my friends, concludes our ultimate 2026 South Florida Homeowners Bible. If you've made it this far through all 5 modules, honestly, you deserve a trophy, or at least a very strong cafecito. You now possess more data and strategy than 95% of the people currently living in this market. But remember, information is only power if you act on it. This masterclass is the foundation, but the Miami market moves at the speed of light. That's why I want to invite you to join our inner circle on Instagram and TikTok. While we do the deep dives here on YouTube, my social media is where I post the boots-on-the-ground reality, daily property tours, emergency tax alerts, and the behind-the-scenes of the 2026 lifestyle. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and leave a comment below. Which module was your favorite? I'll be down there answering your questions personally. Thank you for your trust, your time, and for being part of this community. We are the South Florida Home Finder team, and I'll see you very soon, hopefully at your next closing table here in paradise. Cheers to your new life in South Florida.